Hello, and welcome to the Week 1 update for Raven's Training Ground. This week we saw 16 commits from one contributor, which brings our lifetime commits to 37 from two lifetime contributors, and we just finished Week 1 of 15. This week I went through and integrated the base models for all of the player characters, as well as some base animations out of it, as well as the wands for all of the players. I created the overworld camera and an overworld movement system for our player, and I integrated the overworld generic monster. They now have information that goes into the battle system, so now it's not all just sitting inside of the battle scene. There's a bit more of cross communication there. I started some work on what I'm calling Ancient Vision, and then started some work on the player UI system with like the guard functionality, flee functionality, player names, and then spells for the player. So let's pop on over to the demo here. So first, let's start in the overworld so you can see the players, a bit of the animations here, as well as our 3D camera. So we have that moving around. We have our running animation. It's not pretty at the moment, but you can see our wand in the hand there, and you can see our little generic monster here. And our generic monster has some information contained in it, including who the player is going to be facing when they go into the battle sequence. So let's take a quick screenshot here so I can prove that in just a second. But we also have what I'm calling Ancient Vision, where if you hold down the Tab key, you can see this particle system. Now this particle system will be either blue or green or red based on the average level per enemy compared to the average level per player. So if it hits certain thresholds, then it will change the color of the particle system to tell the player if this will be an easy fight, medium fight, or a difficult fight. So now let's go ahead and go into the battle. So I just basically walk on top of him and press the space button, and we are taken into the battle page. And if we were to pull over, well, first let's pull up our battle page here. We have two enemies in this fight, the Squonk and the Pukwudgie, and that was the information that was contained in the overworld monster, was the Squonk and the Pukwudgie. So that could be any of the enemies between 1 and 4 total enemies. So now we are seeing, whoops, let's go to the scene view and pull this open here. Lots of text boxes there, but you can see our 4 playable characters are sitting here, each of them having their own unique wand. So we're hoping to get clothes added as well as individual characteristics for these players. Ignore the doubling there, I'm using that for a reference. And all of them are facing our enemy here. So we have our UI system right here, and if you hover over it, you can see that it expands and retracts a little bit so it can tell you which button you are on. It also tells you who is currently up. Now each of these buttons do have some level of functionality, so we have like our tactics menu, which would be to swap players, control the party members, so you can either do autoplay or you can control them, as well as enemy insights, which would be these boxes above the enemies up here. So we can press the back button here. We have this flee button here, which is retreating, yes or no. I might do that at the end here. We also have guarding, yes or no, which just increases your defense and gives you a little bit of recovery. We have our items, which doesn't have anything in there, and then our basic cast, which will have a single low damage attack to an enemy. The spells list, if you press this, we are currently in the process of building on top of this, but it's probably easier to see inside of the game view here. We are starting in on having each of these be an individual attack based on what the player knows. So if we press, since it's Theo's turn, and we click Theo, we can see these are the different attacks that he knows. So like Essence of Pride would be this top one, but that's kind of broken at the moment. We have Ferelio Deflectus. There we go, there's that. Explendo Elementus is right there. So every attack that he knows can go here. It goes off the screen currently because I'm going to be limiting this to 6 attacks. But you have the type of attack that it is going to be. So like Physicals down here, Charms is here, Transfiguration here. You have the name of the spell is up here. The description of the spell is right here. How much it will cost in terms of either magic points, or if you can see down here with the physical attack, it will be health points. So then each one of these are going to be buttons that you can click, and then you'll be able to target one of the enemies and then launch your attack from there. So I believe that is all that we have, and then let's see if I can get away with our retreat. There we go. So all of the players turned around 180 degrees and just started running, so you can still see them running over there. So that is what our flee functionality is doing, but that is our weekly update for June 25th. So let's pop on over to the Trello here. Didn't quite get as far as I wanted to this week, so I had to backfill a couple of items that I want to get in. Like we have a bug where the players are awkwardly being removed from a list, so it's causing some duplication and some game crashing issues. So we should probably fix that. Animations for the players, we're working on that. That might actually slide into here. We've had some team members interested in doing some auto testing and fleshing out the characters, so we're going to scooch that back a couple weeks to give them some more time. The enemy affinities unlocking is on the key completed list. Some cheats, having the enemy blob in the overworld be able to move, having particle effects on the different attacks that you do, having the attacks land based on animation, right, just not on top of each other, having an auto battler, integrate the players, the other party members into the overworld, as well as a mini-map in the overworld, and then ability to show equipment. That might actually slide to when we actually make the equipment. And then having our friendship attack. So those are the key pieces that we're looking forward to this week. Still plenty of ways to get involved with 2D, visual effects, 3D modeling, bug fixing, programming. Audio is going to be coming up here real quick. So there's still lots of ways to get involved, and we look forward to seeing you for Raven's Training Ground.